Hey Nate, Kevin here. In today's video, in my virtual ground class, I will be teaching you some basic information on the VFR sectional chart. As you know, there is a lot of information stored within this sectional, anywhere between airports and symbology and airport data and airspace and military operations and MOAs and restricted areas and a whole bunch more. But in today's video, I will be going over some airspace. I'm going to be talking about the classes within them, talk about some locations, different variations. I'll be talking about some symbology that you can see with different airports and some basic airport data. So, first things first, you have class Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, and Golf airspaces. Now, with class Alpha, it is obviously not depicted in the VFR sectional chart because it extends from flight level 180 all the way up to flight level 600 or flight level 600. So we'll just be going over Bravo and below. So class Bravo, depicted on a VFR sectional chart, is a solid blue line. And more importantly, class Bravo airspace is typically defined as more important or busier airports, such as Seattle and Portland International and Los Angeles and so on and so forth. Their altitudes generally vary between the surface to 10,000 feet AGL. I'll show you here in a little bit, but Seattle extends to 10,000 feet. Now we have Class Charlie. Class Charlie is depicted with a solid magenta line, and that varies usually between the surface to 4,000 feet. So with Class Charlie, you have a core radius that starts from the surface that goes all the way up to 4,000 feet, and that has a 5 nautical mile radius. But from 1,200 feet to 4,000 feet, you have a 10-mile radius. So it's kind of like shaped like a wedding to your cake. Class Delta is depicted as a dashed blue line instead of a solid blue line. It's a dashed blue line that has a 4 nautical mile radius and goes from the surface to 2,500 feet AGL. Class Echo airspace is a bit of a tricky one. So there's 3 variations for it. I'm going to be showing you some airports here in a second, but a dashed magenta line depicts a class Echo airspace that goes all the way to the surface. Now we have another airspace of class Echo that covers the entire VFR sectional chart that starts at 1,200 feet. But on the VFR chart, you have a faded magenta line. And on the outside of that is where it starts at 1,200 feet, but within that airspace, it starts at 700 feet. And I'll show you here on the chart in a second. Class Golf is anywhere outside of depicted airspaces. So it goes from the ground up to 1,200 feet or up to 700 feet in some Class Echo airspaces. And first things first, as a brand new flight instructor, I will be teaching my students how to properly use one of these things, because these are really a pain in the butt to use and fold correctly. Anyways, so let's get started here. So this is on the eastern end here of Washington. You have Pangborn, which is Wenatchee, and you have Ellensburg airspace here. As you can see with the Wenatchee airspace, the Wenatchee airspace is depicted by a dashed magenta line. Like I said earlier, that means it is class Echo, which extends to the surface. And with Ellensburg, it is class Echo airspace that starts at 700 feet. And outside of that, it starts at 1,200 feet. So now let's go ahead and start talking a little bit about airport symbology. The first basic information that is very relevant to VFR sectional charts and can really help you is the variations in color. As you can see here, Grand County International, or Moses Lake, compared to Ellensburg, is two different colors. Magenta means it is a non-towered airport, and blue means it is a towered airport. However, some towered airports have different times of operation, and you can see the different times of operation on the back of the legend. It'll list every single towered airport. It will give you the times, such as Yakima. It goes from 0600 Zulu all the way to 2200 Zulu, while SeaTac, Tacoma International, continues, as it is a quite busy airport. Okay, so another difference is if you take a look at Ellensburg here, which is right in the middle of your screen, to Cle Elum and De Vere, which is to the northwest a little bit. The difference between those two airports is that Ellensburg has tick marks around them, while the other two airports don't. Those two tick marks, or those four tick marks, means that you can have fuel, and you can get fuel at that airport. Fuel is usually Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. But that I believe that varies with different airports and does work throughout the weekend. So with these airports, you can see that some of them are in circles, others are not. Some of them are blank. So the blank airports, that's just a little line, little circle, means it is a public airport, but the surface is not paved. So it's anything of dirt, grass, you name it. Circle with an H means it's a heliport. With an R, it is private. There's airports with a U, which means it's unverified by the FAA. And F, as you can see here, which is northwest of Wenatchee, means it is a ultralight flight park. Like I said earlier, I can tell you so much about all of these different airports, but we'll just continue on with some more important information. Now let's go ahead and start talking about some airport data. If you ever take a look at one of these charts and you don't know much about the airport, there's usually a little blurb of information right to the side or to the top of the airport. And for example, we'll take a look at Ellensburg here. I'll zoom in here. So what you can see is the name of the airport, which is Bowers, and then the 3-letter identifier for the airport afterwards. And then after that, it says ASOS, and it gives you the frequency, which is your automated surface weather observing system, and that'll give you the weather and other pertinent information for the airport. Take a look at back here. Then you have a 1764, and that is the airport elevation. And after that, you have a little L with a star behind it. The L with a star means lighting limitations exist. A regular L without that star means it is lighted from sunset to sunrise, but with the limitations, it usually means that it is pilot controlled. And then after that, you have a 56, which gives you the length of the longest runway. It is not 56 feet, it is 5,600 feet. And then you have a 123.0 frequency. That is the Unicom for Ellensburg, but with that C behind it, that means it is also the CTAF, the Common Traffic Advisory Frequency. And let's take a look at Wenatchee here, or excuse me, Yakima here. So with Yakima, it is the exact same ordeal. You have the Yakima McAllister, which is the name of the airport, and the 3-letter identifier. But what's different is it is a towered airport. So the first thing you see is a CT dash in the 133.25. So that is the control tower frequency. And like I said earlier, hours of operations may vary, and that is what is meant by the star after that. That follows the CTAF, and then you have the ATIS, the Automated Terminal Information Service, which is 125.25. That gives you, the weather information and other information that is usually recorded by one of the controllers. Then you have a 1099 or 1099. That is the airport elevation. And same with Ellensburg, it has a star with an L, so lighting limitations exist. 76, so the longest runway is 7,600 feet long, and a 122.95. And that is the Unicom for Yakima. Let's go a little back into airspace, just to wrap things up. So you can see here, Yakima is blue, so it is towered. But around it, you have a dashed blue line. So the dashed blue line means it is Class Delta and has Class Echo surface extensions to the east and west of it. And right next to the airport, the little circle there with the tick marks, is a 36. And that means Class Delta extends up to 3,600 feet MSL, which gives you that 2,500 AGL limitation that Class Delta airspace has. Anyways, thank you for watching my video. I know this is short, but there's a lot of information to be covered with this. Thank you for watching, and see you later.